Yo, 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 happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, everyone. My name is Justin Moore, founder of Creator Wizard, where I teach you how to find and negotiate your dream brand partnerships. Excited to be back here for another live stream. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I am going live across YouTube and Instagram and X and LinkedIn and some other platforms as well. And today we're going to be talking about 2025 sponsorship planning. So if you're sitting here thinking, you know what, I would love for sponsorships to be a bigger part of my revenue stream next year, well, you are in the right place, because that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. I must warn you a bit up front that I think I've been on, I don't know how many podcasts I've done today, but it's a lot. So my voice is, I'm struggle busting it a little bit, but you know what? I commit to being here every single week whenever I can to serve you all around the topic of sponsorships and brand deals and negotiations. So as you know, we'll do a little sprint here all around the topic of planning for next year. But any questions that you have all around negotiating and sponsorships, et cetera, please make sure to drop it in the chat, as I'll be making sure to get to those and answer those a bit later in the stream. So, okay, so we've got Cadu Ribeiro tuning in on YouTube. We've got Dallas Fort Worth today. Good to see you here, Chris. We've got Delilah. What's up, Delilah? Kadu's turning in from Orlando, but yeah, content is made for your Brazilian audience. Glad to see you here, man. We've got Mark. Good to see you here. Mark is throwing it down with the fire emojis. Yeah, there we go. That's the energy I want to see, Mark. We've got Yonix tuning in on Instagram. Emilio, Tiffany Shelton, Life with a Burke, the Kevin Titus, ADHD Studios UK. Good to see you here. We've got Dream NV312 tuning in on X. Love to see it here. Good to see you here as well. Okay, so let's talk about sponsorship planning. So if you currently have a plan for 2025, drop it in the chat. What are you committing to do? Is there something that you're going to be changing about your approach? Are you trying to get your first sponsor in 2025? Are you trying to make more money, on each deal that you do? Just give me a quick pulse check of where you're at. We've got Christian. What's up, Christian from Crailer Made saying, would love to know your tips for booking the top of January. Seems like brands just want to focus on Q4 in November and December, but people are out of office if you reach out now for the top of January. Great question. And it's actually, let's just jump in right there. And so on the topic, so what Christian is talking about is like, there's this, I actually wrote an article on my website about this a while back, but there's basically this like black hole that starts basically now until the second week of January. Essentially, it's like this 30-day hole, December 15th to January 15th, where it's just like really difficult to get a hold of people. Or I think also people kind of mentally, not only are they out of office, they take the additional vacation days, or they're just kind of mentally checked out because they're thinking about the holidays and traveling and all that. So I wish I had better advice than wait until January, but that is usually what my advice is like, work on your own systems internally for the next like 2-3 weeks, basically. Figure out, go back and review, kind of do your own annual planning review to look at all the deals that you did throughout the year. Kind of look at them granularly to say, what could I have done differently? Were there any breakdowns in any communication? Were there any delays in the process? Were there contractual disputes? Like what happened, during each of those things or during each of those deals, and see how you can tighten up the process. One of the things I talk about in my book, Sponsor Magnet, that is coming out in 35 days, is that, a big part of like making more money with sponsorships is tightening up all aspects of your sponsorship process. So it's not just about getting better at pitching, and it's not just about getting better at negotiating. It's not just about those kind of really high leverage things that people think about most when it comes to making more money on sponsorships. It's about all those other small little details that happen when you execute a deal, right? When it's putting together a concept for the brand to approve before you actually, create the content, allowing them to provide some feedback and saying like, that's actually not what we had in mind at all. Don't do that. Actually that would be a good idea to like have them, give you that feedback in advance. down to the production phase. So when you actually get the green light and you produce it, that you don't go off script and you are able to say the talking points with authority, and you're able to not mispronounce the name of the brand, and you're able to demonstrate the product properly. Like, this all seems obvious and stupid, I know, because you guys are all awesome and so am I, but and I'm not saying I ever did that, but of course I did. Like tightening up the process, putting together, understanding how to put together a post-campaign report, and all of those things are things that you can do on your own. They don't require a brand to respond to you. Or maybe it's prepping proposals that you're going to hit send on that first or second week of January. Maybe that's what you spend your time doing, where there's going to be some speculative pitches, some proactive pitches that you're going to send out, first, second week of January. And that's what you spend your time doing over the next 2 weeks. So, so again, I know maybe that's not a super satisfying answer. Well, my book, it just fell. I have to figure this out, because I have this like little stand next to me with the book, but every time I knock it, it falls over. So I got to figure that. I got to maybe like tape it down or something. Let's see. We've got live stream consultants tuning in. Good to see you here. We've got Hedel Bauman tuning in, saying, trying to diversify the types of sponsorship I'd like to offer. That's a great one. Delilah says, my plan is first sponsorship in 2025, baby. Mark my words. It's going to happen. That's what I love to hear. Kadu Ribeiro says, trying to first sponsor, but pitch is not coming out so good. Just waiting for the nuggets on your book. All right, there we go. I know it's going to happen. Cherise says, my goal for 2025 is to make brand partnerships the main focus of my creator business. Sponsorships, consulting, travel, UGC. Let's go, Cherise. Well, you know what? It's a great thing that you are going to the Sponsor Games. Let's go. Happening, my very first in-person event, happening March 16th through the 19th in San Antonio, Texas. Who else is going? Drop it in the chat. Give me a little like praise hands emoji if you've already bought your ticket. Come on, guys. Like, let's go. It's going to be so much fun. You have no idea. I can't even share the cool. There's like a lot of cool things we're doing, but I'm still trying to like keep my team is going to get really mad at me if I like share stuff that I'm not supposed to. Christian said, love it. Having permission to lay off the emails for a few weeks is a-okay with me. Yeah, this is probably the one time where I'll be like, it's okay if you could still draft the emails, Christian. You could just schedule them. Don't hit send immediately. Just like schedule them for like January, 10th or whatever that is. Okay, so a few things I wanted to talk about around like 2025 planning. Okay, so first and foremost is just understanding how brands allocate influencer marketing budgets, and it's the cadence of quarterly. So there's this parlance where you might hear people talk about Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and that just means Q1 is quarter one, and so that means January, February, March, and this is it's just a really like crucial period. I would say Q1 is one of the most important quarters for any brand who has a fiscal year that runs January to December. Some brands, by the way, their fiscal year, when I say fiscal year, that just means the calendar that they operate on for their plan. Some brands actually have a June or July to June plan, like for their fiscal year. So it just kind of depends. But I would say most brands are January to December. And the reason that Q1 is so important is this is where budgets open up again. So, a lot of times, you've heard me talk about the fact that like a lot of brands backload their marketing budget in Q4, when it's the holiday season, especially if it's a consumer brand. And so they spend sometimes upwards of 50% of their entire annual marketing budget in October, November, December, mainly November and December, which is crazy to think about sometimes, especially if some brands are deploying tens of millions of dollars. It's crazy, right? But the reason that Q1 is a really exciting time for a lot of creators is that this is when the budgets open back up again. Because a lot of times you might reach out to a brand in, let's say, November or December, and like Christian was mentioning, like they say, oh, we don't have any more budget. We've used it all up for the holidays. Sorry, this type of thing. And so if you've ever heard that, this is why January is oftentimes an exciting time for partners, because brands are, now they're able to those budgets are unlocked now to spend for the next calendar year. And so this is like a super, super important time to be proactive and reaching out to the brands that you want to collaborate with, because even if the brand is not ready to like pay you, like spend the money immediately, oftentimes the brand is still doing some sort of planning. So they may know that they have, let's say, $1 million to spend, for the year to do partnerships, let's say. They may not know precisely how they're going to spend it. They may not know how much they're going to spend per quarter. Maybe they're spending some, in, maybe like 15% of it in Q1, 25% of it in Q2, 25% of it in Q3, and then what is that? 35% in Q4, something like that. I just did public math, which was a terrible idea. Someone fact check that. I think that was 100%. Sometimes they just might not know what the breakdown of how they're going to allocate their budget. And so it's still super useful to maintain a lens of strategy when you're reaching out, asking, how you can support them for their upcoming initiatives. Hopefully you've done your research though, and you're not just saying, let's collaborate, let's figure out how to collaborate. You're saying, hey, I saw that you were running this campaign in spring. Last spring, are you going to be running that campaign again this year? You're doing more strategic pitches like that, which hopefully if you've followed me for a while, that that's my advice. So just understand that they still may not have it all fully figured out in January when you reach out. But again, the point of a pitch, I've talked about this a lot. It's not about getting the deal. It's about getting on their radar and staying on their radar consistently so that when they are recruiting for, their next campaign, they think of you because you're the one who's being proactive. I've been doing this podcast tour for the book, and one of the things that keeps coming up when I'm talking with a lot of the podcast hosts and kind of chatting through just kind of the subtleties of brand partnerships, I think that there's this this proactivity versus reactivity dynamic, this kind of yin and yang when it comes to being a creator. When you were just starting out, pretty much everything is reactive. Right? Because maybe like you were just focused on kind of growing your business, growing your platforms. And then a brand emailed you one day that, they sent a message on your contact form, or they slid in your DMs, or they sent you an email and they said, hey, we love your stuff. We'd love to collaborate. And so you're, number one, you're probably excited, right? Because it's a little bit of a flex. It's a little bit of validation. Like maybe all my friends and family were like looking down their nose at this weird thing I was doing on the internet. And look at me now. I've got this, legit brand in my inbox wanting to collaborate with me. What now? This type of thing. But in the same breath, from excitement is terror. It's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know how much to charge. Right. And so there's this trepidation that arises when you have a reactive sponsor strategy. And then let's say, you've been doing it for a little while and you realize that, when you shift to a more proactive approach to collaborating with brands, it kind of puts you in the driver's seat more because it's no longer the brand being like, here's the campaign, here's the talking points, here's how much we can pay you, take it or leave it, which is kind of how it feels sometimes when brands, come inbound with opportunities. It's more of a blank slate when you're the one reaching out and proposing, how you could potentially collaborate with their brand. And so I wanted to bring that up because I noticed that as like a recurring theme with a lot of people that I talk to, that there's this mindset shift when you shift to this kind of from reactive to proactive, something switches in people's minds where they feel more empowered to be creative, more emboldened to reach out to their dream sponsors, regardless of whether that, it leads to anything or not. Look, I'll just like pull back the curtain here. Like I think last week, if you were here on the live stream, you saw that I shared my screen and I showed you a pitch that I sent to Perplexity, which was a brand that I'm hoping will sponsor my in-person event. I haven't heard back yet. I've followed up twice already. And so even I get rejected, right? I'm not giving up. I'm going to continue to follow up with that person, but I'm also probably going to pitch someone else, another contact that I found. So I'm not giving up. I'm not letting this be a blow to my ego. I'm a sponsorship coach and I didn't hear back from this sponsor that, I could choose to either A, look in the mirror and hear, violin music and, oh man, they hate me. I suck. My business sucks. My event sucks. They don't want to work with me. Or I could choose to say, this person's busy. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe they're out of the office. Maybe they're on holiday. Maybe they just need to talk to their boss about it, who's on vacation, so they can't respond to me. It's not about me. I have very low ego about this type of stuff. And so I'm just going to continue to reach out and until, I can connect with them. So I think it's just like, this is like a really important shift, I think, when it comes to collaborating with brands. Okay. The second thing that I wanted to talk about today around 2025 sponsor planning is how important it is to understand your audience preferences. So Christian will be a great fan of this, a big fan of this point, because Christian is actually featured in my book about this very topic, which is how important it is to kind of keep your finger on the pulse of discussions that are happening in your community, in your comment sections. Maybe you have a private community, maybe you're getting DMs, or maybe you're getting responses to your email newsletter, whatever. People are actually coming and talking, maybe not to you. Maybe they're just talking about themselves. They're not even saying this to you, but they're talking about brands. They're talking about products. You better be screenshotting the heck out of that stuff, right? Because brands are desperate for even anecdotal evidence that this would be a good fit. Because again, I talk about this a lot. It's not about you. They don't care about you. You serve as the conduit to help them access a big pool of prospective customers. That's what they care about. And so if you can open up a Google document and just start dumping screenshots of any time that your audience is talking about stuff, by the way, negative, neutral, or positive. It doesn't have to be positive all the time. Like, negative feedback is feedback. That is useful data that you could potentially use in conversations with sponsors. A lot of people are shocked when I give them this advice. Like, no, like if people are talking crap about specific brands in your audience, that is an opportunity. Those are objections that your audience has over a particular brand. Maybe they said, oh, I tried this brand XYZ a year ago, it sucked. And you know that brand did a reformulation 6 months ago, and now it's awesome. That actually could lead to a conversation with the brand about re-educating the market about why their product is now different. Like, there are some brands who would be so thrilled to get that feedback and to have an opportunity to re-educate your audience about their product or their new feature or whatever. But most people don't think that, there are going to be some brands who are going to be like, how dare you? But a lot of brands won't. A lot of brands will be super appreciative of that feedback, especially if it's private feedback, especially if it's DMs, screenshots of DMs, or especially if it's email responses. I have 35,000 some odd creators on my newsletter. And I get tons of email. Every time I send out an email, I get responses, especially if I'm talking about software, especially if I'm talking about products. People will respond to me and say, they give me unsolicited. They give me their opinion. They say, this is what I think about this software. It sucks. Or I love this software. Thanks for telling me about it. Right. So like, this is a really, really critical thing to understand. It's not just about positive feedback. It's about neutral and negative stuff that can also serve as the catalyst for reaching out to a prospective sponsor. Okay. The book. Okay. This thing is officially too close to me. Okay. Hold on. There. Is that better? Okay. It's a little, I'm not going to elbow it anymore. All right. Okay. Whoa. Oh, look who we got in the house. Guys, we're in the presence of two tech YouTuber royalty. We've got Christian Taylor, and now we have the one and the only Pete Matheson. He said, Justin, hey dude, hope you're good. How do you stay in the minds of brands when you don't know when their next campaign or product launch is? Do we message all our contacts once every quarter or so? What? No, heck no, Pete. You need to be nurturing these brands way more frequently than that. My preference is every couple weeks or at least once a month, where it's, again, you're providing them value when you reach out. It's not just about you. It's not about, hey, what campaign are you doing? Obviously, that is the entry point when you initially pitch them. But if we're talking about a nurturing of a relationship, things that you can be doing to nurture, to provide value on an ongoing basis can be very simple. It can be, hey, I saw this article in Adweek, or I saw this Digiday article about, XYZ, about how another brand in a similar category as you is killing it with short form content or something. Thought you'd appreciate this article. That could be enough. Or maybe, hey, did you see this trend that is blowing up on TikTok right now? I actually think your brand, you should be doing something about this. Here's like a spin that you could do on this. Here it is, this type of thing. Oh, by the way, I can make this video for you if you want for some money. Right, but hopefully it leads to that conversation. But this is what I'm talking about, is like when you're nurturing the brand, it's not just, hey, I just completed this partnership with this other brand. Here's the case study of how it went. That's what you should be following up with. It's not just, and of course, if you see a press release that they put out, obviously that's very useful. Hey, I saw that you're coming out with this, in 6 months or whatever. That's great. That's a great reason to reach out. But it doesn't just have to be that. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? All right. Christian said, one time someone in my audience had a bad experience with a sponsor product. They messed up bad. I messaged my contact at the brand and they made it right by fixing the issue and offering a credit. My audience member DM'd me again saying that he was shocked at how well they handled it. And because they took care of him so much, he was a fan of their services again. I later met the CEO of that company in person at an event, and he personally apologized to me for potentially putting me in a tough spot with that audience member. 10 out of 10 response. So the other thing that's really, really important about this anecdote here, Christian, is that you went the extra effort to actually circle that feedback back to the brand. Okay. If you were just like any other creator, they would just ignore that DM. They would not circle that feedback. And they just would have no idea that there was some people in the audience, people in your audience that were upset about their experience with the sponsor. And so again, like this is the small game. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I talk about in the book. Like making more money from sponsorships comes from all of these things. It's the small game. It's these things that really go the extra mile and separate you in the minds of sponsors. It's this stuff. Pete says, "Oh man, every 2 weeks, haha, in the tech space. Is that realistic to do this for 20 to 40 brands every 2 weeks?" Okay, look, it doesn't have to be every 2 weeks. At least once a month though. Yes. Dude, that's 20 to 40 emails once a month. You're really going to complain to me about that, Pete? I know you, bro. 20 to 40 emails. If this is one of the primary way in which you make money, you better be carving out at least once a month, one day a month to do these 20 or 40 emails where you're nurturing these brands. Come on, man. Come on. What are we talking about here? This is not that much. Sorry if I'm putting you on blast here, bro, but I'm just going to say it. 20 to 40 emails, that's not that much. Like, I'm sure you could probably use similar articles, that you're sending to these brands. You don't need to come up with like 40 unique emails to send to these brands necessarily. Yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting for your response here because I know it's slightly delayed, but I'm just saying here. All right. Okay. 2025 planning. Okay. So, hold on. There was another, I wanted to, okay. Pete says ChatGPT is going to be on overtime. Yeah, I hear you, bro. Christian says, is it taboo to treat it like a newsletter? Companies do that with their affiliates. Yeah. I'm not a fan of doing that, because people tune that out. That's not and especially like, I think a lot of your contacts won't appreciate being added, in an unsolicited fashion to your, monthly newsletter about what's going on in your world. Yes, it is a lower lift for you. But again, what are we talking about here? This is like 20 or 40 emails. Do you know if you worked in sales at a company? Okay, let me just say here. If you worked in sales at any company, like let's say a tech company or a software company or any, it doesn't even freaking matter, any company, you are sending 20 to 40 emails like easy in a day. If you're doing calls, easy 20 to 40 calls in a day. I'm telling you to do this once a month. If this is one of the primary ways in which you make money as a creator, are you really trying to think about ways to be more effective and efficient here? Yes, of course you can optimize this and, all this stuff here, but come on, guys, what are we talking about here? 20 to 40 emails is not that much. Come on. Okay. Remind me, because I do have, actually, I'm just going to talk about it now because this is timely. Okay. So I have been thinking about this issue, because you're not the first person that has brought this up to me, Pete and Christian. You're not the first people. So, I have about 50 creators in my sponsorship coaching program. I have 40 in the group coaching program, and about 10 in the private coaching program. And I have an aspiration so right now it's about 30% of my revenue personally. And I have an aspiration to make coaching the main offer in my business, basically 80 to 90% of income. And so this would mean a big de-emphasis on the course and a major emphasis on coaching, because I've seen the light. I see the outcomes that people are seeing in the coaching program. They're paying us a flat amount every month and they're keeping 100% of their income. And so we have some people making 6 figures a month on sponsorships in that program. And so the ROI is just massive. And just, it feels good being able to be in someone's corner, regardless of like what's going on in their business, with pricing and proposals and negotiations and all that. And so I've been thinking, knowing in my head, knowing now that like coaching is going to become the main thing that I help people with and me and my team help people with, I've started to tinker with other ways in which we could help people get outcomes. Okay. And one idea, and I'm just gonna like say it. I'm just gonna do it. My team's probably gonna be really mad at me for this. But I have had this idea for a long time. So first of all, that I have a line in the sand. I will never take a cut. We will never take a cut of your sponsorships. We are not managers. We are not agents. We're not brokers. That is not what we do. We believe that you should be the CEO of your business. If you have people on your team running ops or whatever, like that should be the person running, kind of handling that. And we are just kind of there as a backstop to, kind of as coach on speed dial to give you a second opinion when you're putting these proposals together. So that is our model. We're never going to take a cut from you. However, if I think about the outcome that we are trying to help people accomplish, it is consistent sponsorships, right? And so an idea that I've had is, what would it look like for there to be, let's say, a different tier of the coaching program where we actually send you 5 pitches every week or 5 pitches every 2 weeks or something, ready to hit send. We've done the research for you. We know your business. We've done the research on the sponsor. We know the best angle. We give you the email address of the person. We give you the subject line, and we give you the body of the email. What do you think of that? What do you think of that service? Because I found that like just the very nature of this proactive pitching process feels super laborious to people. And I don't know, we've just been brainstorming about, and of course this is like, we would use our methodology, the special sauce of like how we teach people to to do pitching. I don't know. I've talked with like several people who are in our coaching program right now. So to be clear, this would only be available to people who are in our coaching program. Because again, like if you get a response from one of these pitches, we want to be able to support you there and be like, okay, they responded. What do I say? In response to this. So I feel like this would be a very good offer. What do we think about this? My ADV 360 said 5 pitches every week would be a game changer. Shelly said, so good. I got a thumbs up from Dallas Fort Worth, Chris. Okay. All right. That's good. That's some good validation here. Jeremy said would be super valuable. Part of my mind is going like, how scalable is this? Cause obviously like this would be a lot if we're doing this for a lot of people. But part of me wants to just try it out. I actually have someone that has agreed to do a beta trial with us to do this already in January. Una says, what would be the price for that? I don't know yet. I don't know. I think it's a pretty freaking valuable thing. I mean, again, we're doing this manually, so it's pretty like intensive to do this, especially if we have a lot of people who want it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking seriously about it because I do think it would be really, really valuable. Cherie said, I think it's a really valuable offer, but I'm worried I wouldn't be able to learn how to improve my pitches without the team. And Anna says, that sounds like a no-brainer, but unsure about scale. Yeah, you and me both. But thinking through ways to potentially, I mean, longer term, honestly, I would need probably a full-time team member just to do this offer. I don't know. We're getting in kind of into the weeds of this a bit, but I don't know. It's good to know. So real quickly, Sharice, to your point about how you like willing to improve, how you wouldn't be able to learn how to improve in your pitches without the team. This is what's held me up for so long on this idea. That I've never. One of the number one things that I get asked, sell me your calculator, sell me your contract templates, sell me all this stuff a la carte. And like, there's tons of people out there who do stuff like that, but I have been so against that, against selling tactics without strategy. Cause I'm not trying to make $50 here and there, like selling templates and stuff. Like, it's just not my shtick. No shade to anyone who does that, but that's just not my thing, right? Like I want you to learn this stuff. That's the whole point of this. I wrote a freaking book about it. It's $20. You could probably buy this book and never hire me for anything, for coaching courses, whatever. Like I wouldn't have done that if that really, my heart is, I want you to learn. Right. And so Sharice, like this is 100% this was the mindset block for me about this thing. But the reason that I actually don't think that's true is that there is so much that you will learn in the process of just ripping off the Band-Aid, getting this pitch, hitting send on it, and then receiving this response from the brand. and being able to like have a starting place. This is the cold start problem. I can preach the importance of outbound pitching until I'm blue in the face, but I know that the majority of the people who listen to this are never going to do it. And so if I really care about getting outcomes for y'all, it's in my best interest to like, it behooves me to figure out a way to just like, okay, come on, let's go guys. You have no excuse here. You have just copy and paste this freaking thing. Right. And again, like this is not like a boilerplate thing. Like this is like, you know, Bianca on my team is going to be spearheading this program, and she's getting on call with our first beta client about this, and is going to learn about them, learn about the brands that they want, their dream brands, learn about the brands that they've worked with. Like, you know, so we're going to like go really deep on ensuring that we design pitches that are really customized. So again, I don't know how, maybe this is maybe it not being scalable is fine. Maybe there's 50 people in it, and that's capped. I'm never going to do more than that. I don't know, dude. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. This is, I hope I like say this enough. Like I'm just building the plane as I'm flying it. And such a big part of like running a business online is doing stuff like this, experiments. It seems valuable. Is it going to be valuable? I don't know. Will people pay for it? I don't know. Right. But it's just like, I'm trying it. Right. Christian says, come on, Dallas Fort Worth. Today, Chris said, signing up for the coaching. All right, guys, let's go. Let's go, Chris. Can't wait to have you in there, man. Christian says, come on, Justin, 5 emails per week. Isn't that much? In all seriousness, I love the concept. Yeah, that's funny, dude. I appreciate that. But when it comes to doing it for like 50 people a week, that's a lot, and customized stuff and all that. Let's see here. Pete says, I'm looking at restructuring my team at the moment, and Guild is definitely on that list. Bro, Pete, come on. We've been tiptoeing around this for like a year, bro. I think it's just time that you join the Guild. January is the month, man. You know, I know you've been trying all sorts of things, but you know, all roads lead back to Justin Moore. I'm just going to say it, man. I'm just going to say it. No, man, you know, I always support you and whatever you decide, man. But yeah, I hear you. Yeah. And so this would be like another tier of the Guild. Like, hey, you join the Guild, you can get coaching, but if you want us to send you pitches every week or every 2 weeks or whatever, that would just be like an incremental amount. All right. Shri says, that's a great point. I always get nervous pitching because I need more practice. But yeah, I think whatever the price it is, it'll be worth it. I appreciate that. Yuna says, okay, I love this question. Yuna, is the book really worth anything, or is it a glorified ad for your other stuff like a lot of these books tend to be? Okay, so I'm really glad you asked this because holy cow, I put everything that I know about sponsorships into the book. Like legitimately, it's not like I'm pitching. I have one page at the end where I talk about my course and my coaching and things like that, but I literally don't talk. I don't talk like everything that I know is in the book. I'm not messing with you. My bet, I'm not trying to make money on the book. Just to kind of pull back the curtain here a little bit more, because you guys are all creators, you're all running businesses. The reason it's the 2 reasons I wrote the book. Impact, very far and above, is like the number 1 reason. I feel it's my duty to educate the next generation of creators. End of sentence. Like that is I feel it's a duty. That's why I wrote it. Reason number 2 is that, you know, there's a playbook to this kind of thing where now I'm the guy who wrote the book on this, right? So this opens a lot of doors for me. I'm able to access stages, you know, speaking events that I wouldn't have been able to before. Other calibers, other tiers of creators, of business owners will take me more seriously now. I'll be able to access creators. By the way, this is all thesis. I'll be able to access people who previously didn't think sponsorships were for them. For a long time, I thought that the free newsletter, the free YouTube videos, that's going to be the way to like educate people on this process. And yeah, that works a lot. But really the people who I attract with that stuff is the people who are actively having issues with sponsorships. They're like, I've got a negotiation. I don't know how much to charge, or a brand reached out to me. I don't know what to say. Like those people find my content. They really feel like it's valuable, but that is like 0.001% of creators. If there's 50 million creators by Signal Fire's report, or 300 million in a couple of years by Goldman Sachs report creators, like that is such a small fraction of the amount of people out there who I could serve, right? And so one of my big swings, one of the reasons why I wrote this book, is to try to access all those people. It's a $15-20 investment, whatever it is, you know, to learn from me everything I know about this process and to change someone's mind. Oh, wow, maybe sponsorships are for me. Like that is very, very exciting for me. And yeah, a small fraction of those people probably will hire me, but that's not why. The book is not a sales pitch. Believe me, the book is not a sales pitch. So thanks for asking that, Jeremy says, true entrepreneur. Oh, about the iteration stuff. Yeah, I appreciate that, dude. Okay. Heddle says, thank you so much for being so authentic and admitting that you don't know what you're doing. I appreciate that because I don't know what I'm doing. None of us do. I feel like it's funny. Like, there's so much flexing that happens on the internet. If you just like watch TikTok or you watch Instagram or whatever, and people love to flex their wins. They love to flex their successes. They love to flex their gigantic course launch where they made 6 figures, or they love to flex the, money that they're making and the whatever. That's like the majority of the content. And there's much less of like, hey, this failed. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to shut this thing down. I don't think this is a good idea anymore. And I just gravitate to that type of content, because that's what feels real to me, because that's what I'm going through. Not everything is working out for me. Right. And so I just strive to do that for my own business and for y'all, because it's just, I don't know. I feel like that's a better path to like more of a sustainable business. Again, I don't know if it's right. Again, kind of going back to the, like this, that all of this is a thesis. I am terrified. I'm terrified. I have fear of this choice that I've made to write the book. I'll just lay it all out on the line. I am terrified that when this book comes out, that no one will hire me anymore, or no one will join the course or the coaching program or whatever. Because why would I, spend that amount of money when I could just learn it with the, $20 book or whatever. So that's a fear that I have. And I've spoken to so many people who have, told me that, like, Justin, that is not a rational fear. Yes, there are some people who will read it and not do those things, but there'll be way more people. You're opening up a much, much larger kind of top of funnel of awareness for people to learn about you and how you can serve them. There's always going to be a fraction of those people who will need more detailed support. And so I know in my heart, theoretically, I know that that's true, but it's still terrifying. It's still terrifying to kind of do something, like willingly choose to basically lay it all out there, put all the secret sauce in there, basically. And so I don't know what's going to happen. We're a month out from it launching. And then, maybe once that people start reading the books, like, I don't know what it's going to do to the business. I have a thesis. I have a thesis that it's going to grow the business. But I don't know. I don't know if that's true. What do you guys think? I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. The Simplified Gardening says books don't have feedback and community. Yes. Christian says, in my experience, one-on-one coaching and personalized advice far outweighs books and courses. That's because we overthink things and need that personalized push on how to implement it. I mean, that's my thesis too, Christian. It's like, you can read the book, you can learn, basically all the frameworks and all the things that you need to know about it. But that moment that you get a response from a brand, or that moment that you get an email inquiry, you go, shoot, I don't know what to do in this situation. The brand has never asked me this before. What do I do? I need help. And so, hopefully we can serve folks who, I don't know. Liz, oh God, I love this, Liz. Thank you she says, run to the fear. You know what? I'm going to pull this one up on the screen. How many other people right now on this live stream needed to hear that? How many people know that there's something that you want to do, but you're avoiding it? You're shying away from it because you're fearful about what will happen. You're fearful that it will make you lose money. You're fearful that it'll change the dynamics of your business. You're fearful that something will happen. And for a long time, this was me. And I conquered it. I decided I'm going to write the book. And, let me tell you something about that. It was like a decision. It took me a year, basically, or I don't know, it was 7 months to write the manuscript or whatever it was, to finalize it. And so it was 7 months of second guessing my choices. Every time I sat down to write it, am I doing this? Is this a right choice that I'm making? Is this the correct path? And that is a torturous 7 months because there's no answer. There's no answer to that question. Okay. I appreciate you saying that, Liz, because that's what I'm doing on this one. So anyone else here, I want you to raise your hand if there's something that you want to commit to doing in 2025 and you're scared, but you feel like it's the right thing to do. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a praise hands emoji. Put the smiling, the winking guy, something. Put it in the chat to know that you're listening here. If you normally lurk on these live streams and you don't comment, leave a comment in the chat to commit to me and to Liz that you're going to run towards the fear. Christian says, I have been neglecting launching a paid course for literally years because I'm scared of people feeling like they didn't get enough value. I've told myself that I can't lose making free YouTube videos because they didn't lose any money if they aren't happy. Christian, let me give you a piece of advice on this particular thing, because that absolutely was something that held me back, which was that people pay especially with respect to courses, they pay for a shortcut. So yes, you could learn all this stuff out there about brand sponsorship with my YouTube channel, 100%, but my course is a shortcut. I'm going to walk you through the program. Do this first, do this next, do this next, do this next. There we go. I'm getting so passionate, I'm knocking my book over again. That's what people will pay for, right? Okay. A shortcut. They will pay for curation. They will pay for, hey, like you tell me exactly of all these disparate things I need. What are the things that I need to care about? What you slide all that over here and you slide this over here. This is the thing you need to focus on, right? And then they pay for access. They will pay for, getting personalized advice and feedback from you. So if you can construct some sort of offer that provides one of those things, and again, you got to ask your audience. Don't take my word for it. You got to figure out what's most important to them. That's what you have to care about. Okay. So probably, I think maybe some psychographic surveys are in order here. Christian, what do you think? Maybe some more YouTube community polls. What do you think? All right. I love to see all these ones in the chat. Yes. I love to see it. There was a question up here earlier that I missed, and I want to scroll back up here real quickly to make sure I didn't miss it. Let me see here. I already ran out of water. How did that happen? I need to start getting a bigger water thing. Shelly, we've got Shelly Kim tuning in YouTube. Good to see you here, Kelly. Shelly says, hey, Justin, in January, I love reaching out to past clients before doing outreach to new clients. It seems easier, LOL. Should I shift and start doing outreach to new clients first? Absolutely not, Shelly. Your intuition is right. You know how much easier it is to pitch past clients that you've already done awesome work for than it is like new people who have no idea who you are. Absolutely, you should be pitching past clients first. Prioritize that. Heck yeah. But then, of course, you got to be supplementing that with pitching new clients who don't know you. I open the chapter around pitching in the book talking about something called the explore-exploit trade-off. It's a principle in psychology and just human nature. I don't even know what discipline it's in, but the example here is honeybees, right? One of the most cunning strategists in nature. So in a hive, you've got the queen bee and you've got the worker bees, and then you've got the scouts. And so the role of the scouts is they're supposed to go out there and forage, right? They're supposed to go out and find, ideal places for, foraging to bring back to the hive. And so one of the roles of the scout bee is, to actually go out there and look. Basically 80% of them will go and they will find a particular location that they think is ideal for the hive, right? But about 20% or 10 to 20% of the scout bees actually don't follow that 80%. They go and they explore. So they look for new locations. They look for new locations that actually might be better than the current location that the majority of the hive is exploiting, in the current moment. And it's actually the exploring that helps the hive continue to survive, because eventually that if you continue to exploit a resource over and over and over, it'll eventually be completely tapped out, and the hive will die, right? Because they can't do this. And so it's important to kind of for the continued survival of their hive, your business. You always have to have your thumb out there and exploring these new things. And again, this phenomenon can be carried over into many aspects of our personal and professional life. Let's say you're trying to decide where you want to go for dinner with your partner. Are you going to go to the familiar restaurant where you order the same thing every time? Well, you're exploiting. That's something that you do every time. You know it's going to be a certain quality, et cetera, right? Or are you going to try a new restaurant? That's where you're exploiting. Maybe you find a new favorite restaurant, a new favorite dish that you never knew about. Wow, it blows the water out of the old one. So there's all sorts of different, another one professionally, right? Shooting for a new job or promotion versus looking for a completely new job. Right? That's a whole new level of exploring and exploiting. So I just love sharing this analogy when it comes to pitching, because you just can't exploit either the inbound deal flow forever or the existing client relationships. Those are great, but always exploiting or exploring like new relationships is what's going to continue to help your business survive for the long run and thrive. Frankly, how do we feel about that analogy? Do we like that? All right. We got a note from Kevin Thornton here. I've had writing a book and creating a course on my to-do list for more than a year, but too nervous to sit down and do it. Kevin, thank you so much for your vulnerability and sharing that here, man. I really think that you voicing that is a big a big part of realizing like, hey, this is something that I absolutely want to do, and just hopefully just typing those words down is something that, helps you kind of get to that next phase there. We've got Anna in the chat. What's up, Anna Xavier? Good to see you here. She said, I certainly will include your book in my resources for podcasters tab. So another link to your funnel. Anna, thank you so much. That really, really means a lot to me. I super appreciate that, honestly. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Roberto says, I'd love your service idea for my event company, which relies on sponsorships to host music events while offering brand activations, broadcast commercials, and social media video content. Dude, I mean, so again, like, I'm so glad that this is resonating with you guys because, again, that like the things I teach around sponsorship strategy are universal. It doesn't matter what type of company you've built, what type of audience you have, as long as you have influence over a body of people, whether it's social media accounts, whether it's an in-person event, whether it's a newsletter, whether it's a podcast, whatever it is, again, it's pretty like basic stuff here. Like, how do you actually help the brand accomplish a business outcome and tie your, sponsoring you to that business outcome? At the end of the day, this is what I teach. And of course there's like subtlety to that, but yeah, I'm really glad to hear that it's resonating. Yes, it's me Tools said, hey, Justin, hey everyone, happy holidays. So good to see you here as well. Thanks so much for tuning in on YouTube. All right, guys, I want to make sure that I can dive into more of your questions. And so make sure to drop it in the chat box. If you have any questions around, setting your 2025 sponsorship goals or negotiating with a brand, or how do you start making more money on your deals? You want to give me a case study of a horror story that happened this year? I'll take those. I'll take it all. And in the meantime, I'm going to share an update. Are you guys ready for the update on where we are at with the 10,000 copies challenge? Are you ready? Maybe you weren't here last week and you didn't know that I have made this goal to get a copy of Sponsor Magnet in the hands of 10,000 creators by April 21st of 2025. That is not that long away. That's like 4 months from today. And so I created something that I'm calling the 10K copies challenge, where as a community, we unlock different based on what we sell. So right now we are at 404 books sold, and we only need 596 more books to unlock, for everyone to unlock the secret video. I filmed this amazing video talking about how I responded to a brand that rejected my pitch. This was actually a back and forth kind of negotiation with the brand, and they ultimately said no. Instead of getting mad or insulted, I did something very different, and I think you're going to want to see this video. It's a real juicy one. Okay, and I've got all these other tiers. So once we hit 3,000 copies, I'm going to be doing a private live pricing workshop, so you never wonder how much should I charge again. When we hit 5,000 copies, I'm going to be doing a private live brand contact hunting workshop where you drop in the chat, you say, oh, this is my dream band, I want to collaborate with them, and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to be like, here's the person. Here's their email address. This is exactly who I think you should reach out to, okay? 8,000 copies. I'm gonna be doing a private live negotiation role play workshop. This one I'm really excited about, where I'm gonna be the brand, and I'm gonna throw a bunch of curveballs at you. I'm gonna pull you up onto the stage. I'm gonna select a few creators from the session, and I'm gonna say, all right, I'm the brand. We're in the middle of a negotiation, and I'm gonna throw some questions at you, and I'm gonna help you get you better on your feet, okay? And if we hit 10,000 copies, by April 21st, 2025, all 10,000 people are going to get free access to my Gifted to Paid course. This is the course that I created that previously retailed for $500 and helps you learn how to turn free product offers into paid partnerships. That's a crazy one. I don't know if we're going to reach that. I hope we will. You know what? We will. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to shoot my shot out there. I don't know. So what do we think? Who has yet to pre-order the book? Because if you haven't pre-ordered the book, don't you want to see that 404 number tick up to 405? Or maybe you want to buy like a 10 pack and make it go up to 414 and you get all sorts of bonuses when you pre-order the book. Anyways, sponsormagnet.com. If you haven't pre-ordered yet, it would mean the world to me. It would really mean a lot to me. Yeah. Yes, It's Me Tool says, not if you hit it, when you hit 10,000. Yes, exactly. I got to speak it into existence. It's going to happen. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I've never launched a book before. I don't know. I don't know. I was about to say I'm not an author, but I am an author now. But I just feel like, I don't know. There's a lot of these people who are like way smarter than me. About this. Yeah. Christian said 404 book total not found. That's actually not what it means. This is the real total. That's really funny though. Christian says, maybe a weird question, but I would love to know how big your team is. You're a rock star and managing so many products and content. I don't know how you do it all. Christian, I appreciate that, dude. Okay. So my team is as follows. I have Dee Brissett, who is my director of operations. So she manages a lot of the day-to-day stuff, which is a huge load off of my plate. I have Bianca, who is an operations coordinator. So she runs a lot of just logistics with our community, a lot of administrative stuff related to, customer service inquiries, questions about the program, emails. As you can imagine, I get a massive amount of emails every day, having the newsletter, people responding to the newsletter, inquiries about collaborations, just a lot of stuff. So she handles a lot of that stuff. This book project is massive because I've embarked upon this project to try to be on 100 podcasts in the next like a couple months. And I think I just filmed number 20. So I'm like, I still got a ways. But I think I've got another 30 on the books, something like that. So, she's been instrumental in helping coordinate a lot of that stuff. And then I have Russell on my team who handles a lot of the social media stuff. So, scheduling and drafts. And, I do have some other freelancers like editors and thumbnail artists and stuff like that. I have a writer as well that helps me with some of my email stuff. So I do have like, a team. It's not just me, but at the same time, I feel, it's like, I feel it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm always doing something. I very rarely have space in my day or space in my calendar to just like do deep work. I did when I was writing the book. I cleared space in my calendar to do that very intentionally. But since the manuscript has been done, my calendar went right back to like being super crazy. I was talking with my friend John Meese, also an author, yesterday, and he gave me this analogy that I really liked, which he said, there's these seasons where you're inhaling and exhaling. So right now, I feel like I'm in a season of inhalation where I'm inhaling. I'm doing all sorts of stuff. I'm about to launch a book. I'm about to launch an in-person conference. I'm doing all these podcasts. I'm like inhaling. I'm filling up my chest. I'm doing all sorts of stuff. And then in my mind, like right after the conference is over, which is like basically the start of Q2, which is April 1st, around that, I feel like I'm hoping it's going to be this big season of exhalation where I'm going to, stop launching things, stop launching products and a book and an event and, stop tinkering on stuff. And it shifts more to like, okay, let me create some space in my business, in my life to do more creative work, to, do more content. Frankly, like, I hope it becomes kind of that next chapter becomes the optimization season, because I've launched a lot of things, the course, the coaching, the book, the event, all these things. And they're all seem to be doing pretty well. They're working, well, the book and the event, I don't know yet because it hasn't launched, but, I spend so much time on creating stuff from zero, like this new thing that I want to exist in the universe. Like the book, I wanted it to exist. It's here. The event, I wanted an event around sponsorships to exist, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to be the guy to do it. I put a ton of my own personal money on the line, $20,000 on a venue, tens of thousands of dollars on catering, videography. Like I'm putting my own money on the line because I want this thing to exist. It's a big risk, right? By the way, if you're not coming to the event, can you come to the event so I don't lose a bunch of money? Anyways, so I'm taking these big swings, right? And so, but I have spent very little time over the last 3 or 4 years optimizing. I've spent very little time being like, what if we tried this a little bit differently? Or what if we tweaked this a little bit differently? Or what if we help people in a little bit different way? And so I'm really hoping that that's what the next season will be for me. So I don't know if there's a very long and complicated answer to maybe that question, but I don't know. That's where that's where my mind is at right now. All right. Oh no, the audio is out of sync. Why is the audio out of sync? Why is that happening? That's annoying. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why that's happening. That's very annoying. The audio is delayed. I think it's because I have 19,000 tabs open, maybe. Should I like kill a bunch of tabs? I mean, we're almost at the end of the live stream, but let me kill a bunch of tabs. Maybe I have too many tabs open, and that's very possible because people make fun of me about how many tabs I have open whenever they see this. So I probably need to like actually kill Chrome and reopen it. I should probably like kill Chrome right before I start live streaming so that it doesn't take up a bunch of bandwidth. Okay, I'm gonna come back here. All right, is it less delayed? I don't know if it is, but I just tried that. Anna says, I plan on inviting you to be a guest on my show, so I will reach out later. I appreciate that so much. That really means a lot. All right, let's see here. Mecca says, will you be playing a nice brand or a savage one? I think I'll be both. Why can't I be the nice and the savage person? I'll be a good cop, bad cop. You ever have that where you're on a call with a brand and they have like multiple people, and one person is really nice and they seem really enthusiastic, and then the other person on the call is like, I don't know. We worked with a creator before and it didn't work. It didn't drive sales. Like, I don't know. I don't know, this type of thing. So yeah, I might be, it's going to be a little unexpected. You don't know which cop I'm going to be. I guess you're going to have to buy a copy of Sponsor Magnet so that we can, what tier was that? So we got to get to 8,000 copies for that role play workshop. All right. Okay. Kennedy says sync is good now. Okay. So I guess it was about how many freaking tabs I had open. I apologize for that. Let's see here. Anything else I was going to say? I can't remember. Oh, yes. I was going to say, with respect to the live stream, you guys know, like I've been showing up every single week on this live stream for the better part of 3 years. But I do take the holidays off with my family. So, spring break starts for my kids basically on Friday. So they're going to be home. So I'm not planning on doing a live stream next Tuesday. So that would be the 24th, which is obviously Christmas Eve. And then I'm not going to do a live stream on New Year's Eve either. So I appreciate your grace there. I'm going to take just a break with my family. And you guys know I moved from California to Minnesota as well in the midst of all of this craziness. So I'm hoping to spend the next 2 weeks or so, trying to get the house in a bit more order, clean the garage, unpack. We actually unpacked most of the boxes already. But the holidays are, I don't know about you guys, but the holidays are always like a time where I feel like finally I'm not getting a zillion emails. I can like, try to attack some of these projects that I've had on my to-do list forever for like all year. So kind of looking forward to doing that. So I'm wishing you and your family a wonderful holiday season. I'm wishing you an amazing start to the year. I can't wait to sync with you in the new year. I would recommend joining my newsletter though, because I'm still going to be sending out some newsletters. In fact, actually starting the day after Christmas, I'm going to be sending out some emails about the event, which might be interesting for you to check out. So if you are interested in attending the event, I would absolutely recommend taking a look or joining the newsletter if you're not on it, because I am very motivated to get as many people to the event as possible. So I think we have like 7 early bird tickets left at the lower price. So yeah, you should come. It'd be a lot of fun. It's gonna be great. Will you please come? It'll be great. All right. Anyways, happy holidays, everyone, and I'll see you in the new year. Peace.